Flesh-eating and other harmful bacteria are always present in our coastal waters. And today's Doctor is In. Dr. Vijay Bending-Navale reminds fishermen and others who spend time in the water to be prepared with first aid in the event of even a minor injury. Dr. Vijay, we're talking this week about being extra careful if you spend a lot of time in the ocean on our beaches.
That's right.
Tell me about it. We're talking about flesh-eating bacteria?
Yeah. Our waters are fantastic. That's one of the prime reasons most of us live here, or those of us who moved here. But it's important to respect it. Especially at certain times of the year, there's certain bacteria that are in the water that can cause quite a problem. So as long as you protect yourself, go enjoy the water. But say you have a little cut in your leg or your hand, then it's very important to be treating it appropriately.
And of course, a lot of fishermen love to waste fish. I don't know what that's called, waist deep fishing, where they don't wear anything. They go barefooted many times, and that can be problematic at best.
That's right. It's real important. Intact skin is very protective. Skin does a great job in protecting our body. That's its primary function, one of its primary functions. But as soon as you get it cut, then things can find its way in. So if you're going barefoot when you go wade fishing, well, there's a lot of things on the floor of the bay. There's oyster shells, there's rocks. Unfortunately, there's a lot of debris as well. And then if you get a cut, well, then these bacteria, especially some of these dangerous marine bacteria, can get into the skin. And then once that happens, it can cause you an infection. Of course, what you need to do is, if you do get a cut, either on your feet or on your hands, then as soon as you get out of the water, make sure you wash it real well. Keep it clean. After washing it in soap and water, dry, put some antibiotic ointment on it. As long as it heals, you're okay. If not, seek immediate medical attention. As we always say, prevention is the best thing. So the best way to prevent it is to wear appropriate protection. So wear good boots, wear good fishing gear, especially if you have risk factors such as, say, diabetes or heart disease or obesity. If you have any of those, then even if you don't feel a cut when you get out of the water, you want to make sure you look everywhere. Look in your feet, look between your toes, and make sure there's no cuts that you missed.
Now, some other options for treatment. I would imagine carrying isopropyl or some kind of alcohol, as well as bandages, are a good idea, especially for fishermen?
Sure, a skin cleanser is a great idea. Soap and water is fantastic. Betadine is good. Alcohol is reasonable as well. Sure, they're all great ways to clean the skin once a cut has occurred. It's important to flush the wound. And when you flush the wound, you don't want to use seawater or bay water. So a good amount of fresh water is also a good idea to have on hand, because that's really the best thing to use. Then there's also other things such as fish barbs, especially hard heads that can get into your skin. If that happens, it's very important to make sure you get all of it out. Now, if one of those spines go into your body, into your hand, especially by accident, and then you have to cut it, make sure you leave enough space that you can grab it and take it out completely. Because if there's any of it left in, it can become a terrible problem, because all these barbs elude toxins that can make the problem a whole lot worse in terms of swelling, pain, infection. So it's important to have fresh water and some safety equipment as well.
And I would imagine that fishermen, like the rest of us, delude ourselves into thinking that just washing it off with seawater is the first thing we need to do, and that's not the case at all.
Not at all, because the same bacteria that are getting in there live in the seawater. Much lower concentration, but they're still there. It's nothing quite like good, fresh water. Now, it doesn't have to be drinking water that you're using to wash with. Bottled water doesn't have to be bottled water. It can be regular tap water. Tap water is also very clean, but you want to make sure you have enough of a volume of it in your car or wherever you can store these things so that you can wash it appropriately.
Doctor, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And of course, The Doctor is In airs every Sunday morning right here on First Edition. Ryan.